And do you see that that support? In your experience, Mike, you've been doing that for 15 years now as an entrepreneur. And is it hard to be an entrepreneur? Do you feel alone? Do you have people helping you? Or which advice would you give to new entrepreneurs here on the scene when they start, not to be alone?
I think you first have to decide that it's for you. So you have to decide you're a builder, that you're willing to step up and deal with all the issues that you would face as an entrepreneur. And once you decide that, then your job is to expand your vision to include others, find experts, find colleagues, find customers. And that's all about explaining your vision and convincing others to join you in that vision.
Mm-hmm. Simone, coming back to your role as an entrepreneur, you're very involved, as for you, on all the social side of entrepreneurship. Why are you doing that?
In general, say we as a company, we believe that serving, being active in mobile payment, we can be strongly supportive for financial inclusion and for the provision of value to unbanked community, to rural areas, and all the different group of the world that need to still to manage the gap in terms of growth. Thanks to that, we are very well accepted by emerging markets because not only we are providing a business, but we are also supporting social classes to interact better with their environment. It's a very long journey, but we feel this is important, this is valuable, and this gives us an additional sense to what we are doing every day. In order to do it properly, we recently joined the World Economic Forum, where we are leading the chapter for mobile payment, and we believe that this will be important, and we want to have a protagonist role on that.
Coming back to this entrepreneurial spirit all over the world, I've got a bit the feeling that it's now a kind of trend to become entrepreneurs, that for young people, you stop thinking about career in big corporation. However, there's very few people who succeed, as entrepreneurs. So coming back again to your testimony as an entrepreneur, which advice would you give to someone willing to start a new business? How do you know if you're prepared to be an entrepreneur? Maybe Noam and Mike, love to get your points.
So it connects also to what you said in the beginning. Like, I personally don't think that everybody should be an entrepreneur. Someone needs to work also. And when you want to start a business, you need to get ready that it's going to be, like Itay said, it's going to be very hard, and you're going to be sure that you're going to fail, but you still need to believe that you're going to succeed. You need to have the ability to lead a group of people and make them feel that you know what you're doing, that you're going to make them happy, and they're going to be wealthy and satisfied because of you, while still sticking with what you believe in. And that's a huge challenge. And my personal recommendation, and I started entrepreneurship as my first job. Like, my first job in the world after being in the army was a CEO. And today, from the perspective of today, I'm working in a bigger company after the acquisition. I wish that I knew then what I know now. So personally, I think that it's better for you to grow in a startup or even in a more mature company. To understand how business works, how corporate works, what is sales, what's marketing, what's operation, and then go and start yourself, because starting a business is a huge responsibility. Basically, you're taking responsibility on the life of others, and sometimes for entrepreneurs, it seems easy. Yeah, I'm going to take this group of people and I'm going to make them follow me and build my vision, our vision. And this is a huge responsibility. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to grasp it when you're in the act itself, and you should be very ready and qualified and prepared prepared to what it's going to take?
We have in that field a very nice question from the audience that I would like to have. So maybe Mike, for you. So active. How do you persevere through your startup idea even when others tell you that it won't work and you have failed many times? Did this happen to you, Mike? I mean, over the 15 years of your entrepreneurial journey? Because you were in a very, very early stage technology, the voice recognition.
Yeah, there are a lot of elements to being successful as an entrepreneur. As we talked about, first you have to have the individual personality and capability to undertake these kind of tasks. But probably the biggest one is the fact that you don't know. That the very fact you're in something new means you're facing new challenges all the time. And nobody is going to make the right decision for every challenge that appears. By way of example, even at Microsoft, when I left, one of the things Bill Gates said to me, and a lot of people don't know, Microsoft almost decided not to sell MS-DOS and Windows. And there was an argument inside the company among the engineers that it wasn't a real operating system and that Unix was the way to go. And Bill actually made that decision himself and said, I'm going to take a chance. Unix won't be on every machine. Yes, this is not a great operating system, but we can build on it and we can learn.
And the world changed.
And when I left, he said, do you know how close we came to not selling this operating system? He said, we would have been nobody, absolutely nobody. And I think everybody faces that question. We will be nobody. So what you have to do is persevere. You have to make the decisions and the leaders. And you have to decide as an entrepreneur that you'll make the tough call, even if everybody's telling you that's not the right answer.
I think it's like a Fight Club. The first rule of the CEO pain is that you don't talk about the CEO pain. And Ben Horowitz is a great storyteller. He wrote a great book called The Hard Thing About Hard Things. And I think he talks about the struggle of being a CEO. And actually, I have a few sentences here. He starts that part with, the struggle is when you wonder why you started the company in the first place. The struggle is when people ask you why you don't quit and you don't know the answer. The struggle is when your employees think you're lying and you think they may be right. The struggle is when food loses its taste, and so on and so forth. It's a very long part, and I think this is something that all the management books and all the business books will not teach you. Nobody teaches you about the hard parts, and you have to go through all of this by yourself. It's a very lonely profession also.
Yeah, I think you made the point. I mean, everybody is dreaming about being an entrepreneur, and it's hard. And maybe there's something that, and Simone, you could elaborate on that, but I was trying to see that Singapore, for example, still have a very hard law on bankruptcy. And I'm pretty sure that it's not unleashing the entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, what happens here if you bankrupt?
It's quite problematic. It's a quite negative situation that can affect your career as an entrepreneur. So this is something that, as a system, we should work about. Definitely cannot be like this. Entrepreneurship is about failure, is about learning, is about doing mistakes, and try again. In the US, if you do a mistake, then the system gives you the opportunity to try again and to improve what you have done. Here, I think that still, from a legal point of view, things need to get better and better. But the sensibility is growing, is raising. There is a sensibility that the legal environment will have to adapt in order to incentivize better entrepreneurship. So I'm quite positive on what will happen in the next year.
So we are coming to the end of the panel. So what I would ask you is, in a very short sentence, few words of the things you want to tell to young entrepreneurs dreaming of making his company. So maybe we start with you, Mike.
Okay. Well, I think that if you decide you want to be an entrepreneur, realize that the opportunities are endless. Technology does change very quickly, but there's still a lot more to be done. One quick example I'll give. In Seattle, everybody may have seen the Space Needle, if you know what Seattle is. That's the icon of that. That was part of the 1962 World's Fair, where they were asked to project what the world would be like in the year 2000. And in the year 2000, they projected that the Space Needle would be the apartments up in the sky where you could dock your flying cars and you can take moving sidewalks over to the Space Needle. So our imagination in 1962 was very large. But when you went to the computer exhibit, they showed you and they said, in the year 2000, computers are going to become as small as a refrigerator. And so man's imagination could imagine moving sidewalks and flying cars, but we couldn't imagine a computer smaller than a refrigerator. That exists today. 40 years from now, we can't imagine what the opportunities are.
So dream. Noam.
So on a more personal note, that's great and very true, but on a more personal note, when you're starting a business, it's very important to keep the perspective, not to lose yourself into the business, because it's very, very easy, the struggle and everything associated with it. You always need to remember what's important. Like your co-founders, you need to keep them as your partners, as also as your friends, your employees. They are your family. Your family, you need to keep them. You need to remember them, and it's okay to fail, and you can always do it again. Do not lose yourself for the business.
Itay?
The biggest one is don't quit, just move on. And more specifically, I think for when you're starting a business, I see a lot of people building things that nobody wants. And that's by far the biggest mistakes that young people do. We did it a lot of times. So I would say it has also more subtle forms today where people don't monetize early in the life of the company, so they just build on and wasting resources and money and time on the wrong things. So try to avoid this. And after you started succeeding in the first maybe 2 or 3 years of the company's life, I think the rules of the game around you will change 5 or 6 times as the company matures. So be fast enough and be adaptive enough to see it, and don't play the startup game when your company crossed the line to becoming a mature company.
And maybe the last word for Simone, as an advice of a serial entrepreneur.
I think first, follow your passion, do what you like, always, and follow what motivates you. Second, proceed step by step, always look at the long-term vision, but be aware that in order to accomplish objectives, you need to proceed step by step. And once one step is achieved, you need to move to the other. And the third thing that is the most important is maintain your integrity, whatever it happens, and in any situation, in the good, in the bad. So this will lead you and will lead your team.
So thanks to all. So maybe for me the last word is that if you want to be free, be an entrepreneur. This is the best way to be to manage your destiny. Thanks to all, and I hope that we convince you to become entrepreneurs all over the world.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie.